This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. President Trump says he would welcome Chinese automakers to build cars in the U.S. And Geely says it will make an announcement in a couple of years to make cars in South Carolina. But Ford CEO Jim Farley's advice to the Trump administration was basically, if you're gonna let the Chinese in, then make them play by their own rules. Here's what Farley means. China forced foreign automakers that wanted to come into China to form joint ventures with Chinese car companies in which the foreigners were the minority partner. They also had to share their technology with their Chinese partners, had to develop new cars from scratch in China, and had to train Chinese designers and engineers. Bloomberg reports that Farley is not in favor of letting Chinese OEMs set up joint ventures in the U.S., but told administration officials that if they were going to let the Chinese in, that would be the way to do it. So here's what we'll be watching. In April, President Trump will meet with Xi Jinping in Beijing for trade talks, and that might be one of the bargaining chips that President Trump will bring along with him. Meanwhile, a number of Chinese automakers see mid-size pickups as the next big segment they want to jump into. Not so much in China, but in the rest of the world. Pickup sales in China are relatively small, hitting about 258,000 units last year, down more than 6%. But exports of pickups hit 300,000 units. Gasgoo reports that Chery is targeting strong pickup markets with a multi-powertrain strategy, EVs and hybrids for Europe, and diesels for Australia, New Zealand, South America, and Africa. Chery's electric midsize pickup, the Rely R08, is a body-on-frame design that sells for about $18,000 to $23,000 in China, has a max range of about 300 miles, and can carry 1,800 pounds. The global midsize market for pickups is led by Toyota, Ford, Isuzu, Nissan, and Volkswagen, and it's a very profitable segment for them. And they're going to have a massive fight on their hands trying to protect what they've got. Stellantis is going back to diesels in Europe as it pivots away from electrics. It's reintroducing diesel versions of at least 7 models to help boost sales. But that strategy is a bit puzzling. According to the ACEA, diesel sales plunged 24% last year in Europe, and it's now the smallest powertrain segment by sales volume. In 2015, diesels accounted for half of new car sales, but last year, that dipped to just 7.7%. Hybrids are now the largest segment in Europe, accounting for 34% of new car sales. Speaking of diesels, Volkswagen is still facing consequences over its diesel emission cheating scandal from more than a decade ago. The automaker has been ordered to face a criminal trial in France related to the cheating and is being accused of deceit concerning goods that endanger human and animal health. But the trial isn't expected to start until sometime next year, and Volkswagen didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. France is also taking action against Renault and Stellantis for similar emissions violations, but both automakers deny any wrongdoing.
Performance that shines, even in the rain. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Potenza tires, improved grip in wet conditions.
The flying taxi industry is using automotive production knowledge, which has been built up over the last 120 plus years, to improve the aircraft making process. Joby Aviation plans to have its eVTOLs offering a limited amount of rides in Dubai this year, and then expand similar operations into other parts of the world in 2027, including the US. Since Joby is trying to bring an entirely new class of aircraft to the market with a lot of new technologies, it sounds like the company has had to kind of invent how these eVTOLs are built. Right now, it's able to make one of its aircraft a month. But Toyota is doing more than just infusing $900 million into the company. It's teaching Joby the Toyota production system, doing everything from training workers to improving the manufacturing process and acting as a supplier in some cases. With Toyota's know-how, Joby plans to go from building 1 eVTOL a month to 4 a month by next year. and then eventually hit 500 a year once its facilities in California and Ohio are fully built out. The Joby aircraft seats 4 passengers plus a pilot and is said to be able to travel up to 100 miles at up to 200 miles an hour. Automotive suppliers the world over always complain how long it takes automakers to pay them for the parts that they bought. Payments typically take 60 to 90 days, but in China, it could take even longer than that, and it was threatening the survival of a lot of small and medium-sized companies. So the government stepped in with regulations stipulating that automakers had to pay suppliers within 60 days. And on paper, it looks like it's working. The data shows that automakers are now paying suppliers in 54 days or even sooner than that. Yet, suppliers are still complaining. Gasgoo reports they have a saying, "Good data, bad experience." That's because some automakers simply delay sending out invoices and then pay within 60 days of that. Some only send out part of the payment, then pay the rest later. Some demand concessions before paying. Others send out what are called bank acceptance bills, which a bank will honor, but they have a maturity date 180 days out. Gasgoo says regulators need to put more teeth into their regulations, and automakers need to be more responsible. Solid state is supposed to be the next big breakthrough in battery technology, but its progression to market has been slow. One battery expert in China says it's cathode development, not the solid electrolyte that's been keeping the batteries from going from the lab into commercial production. While some companies will come out with solid-state batteries this year and next, they're only expected in low volume, and it sounds like companies are still looking for the right combination of materials to achieve the levels of safety, performance, and durability that solid-state batteries are supposed to provide. And here's a little bit of a fun fact. The cathode active material is by far the most expensive part of a typical battery, accounting for about half of its cost. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. CSP, the composites solution partner. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And thanks to the following YouTube and Patreon members.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
At CSP, we work with OEM engineers across the country on their journeys to lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly vehicles. Learn more at thecsp.com.